Yo, dude, what's going on?
How we doing, brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good myself. Just looks like we're waiting on Ryan to show up.
Yeah, that's about right. So, how has everything been within your little circle of voice acting?
I've just done a little bit here and there. Mostly, I've just been working on a comic book I finished one. Oh, cool, Dunigan's on now. I finished one issue, and that's up on Amazon right now. So now I'm working on issue 2. That kind of thing where you finish one just to start another.
Yeah, it's just endless and endless. Well, when I was doing the Minecraft thing, fucking like the next week after I was done, I was like, so I'll get my $60 now, and he's like, yeah, here's the $60 and a new book to read, and I was like, cool.
Yeah, that's mostly always how it is. It's like,
yeah, it's like I'm gonna get money now. Awesome.
Done with one, start the other. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna add Ryan in.
All right. I think I'm gonna do this without the. Well, let me see.
Oops, crap in the bucket. I did it wrong. Okay, let me try this again. Add the group call, not the other button.
Hey, there we go. Why, the button's messing you up?
Yeah, I clicked the call button instead of the add to group call.
I see.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, Dunny's here.
There we are. There we are. Yeah, I'm the one fucking up, slumbering in late.
That's okay. I was like fucking clicking the wrong button to call you, so you probably got like multiple calls, like going back and forth. Like,
all I got
Christ, Ryan, you look like John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio. Oh, is that Bender? Is that Bender?
Yeah, the guy. Did I pronounce his name correctly?
I think so. I don't know.
I'm just double checking. It's one of those things where it's like I don't remember really what he looks like, but I'm like, well, he voiced Bender and he voiced the Joker, so right on. That's good for me, I guess.
Yeah, you got the whole beard thing going on. Everybody's got all thick beards going together.
You know what? The beard is almost kind of like I didn't really even want a beard originally. But I've just got a lot more like positive response when I had a beard. So I'm just totally a bandwagon beard guy because people are like, there's this girl I was talking to this one time and she's like, you should keep the beard. It looks good on you. I'm like, oh, thanks. And she's a very nice girl. And she says the most passive aggressive like things ever. She's like, yeah, if guys don't have a beard, they think they're just some like, prepubescent asshole who's not a man. I'm just like, oh, Jesus, fuck. All right, I'll keep the fucking beard.
I've seen people go to that extreme though. Like my friend, you had this thick like Gandalf looking beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, Starbucks, everybody!
Oh, that's actually
I got one.
I ain't
selling out here. I'm going to the indie bitch right across the street.
Ooh,
Cafe Enchante.
Yeah,
415 area code, motherfucker. No, I'm joking.
Mine's fucking homemade, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's all fancy right there.
we get like how people get like all area code like gang warfare on that shit like with their
305 motherfucker.
Well, dude, I remember that when I was in San Francisco and I met somebody from Modesto, which realistically from Sonora to Modesto is like a 2-hour drive. Yeah. You really have nothing in common with these people, but when you're in San Francisco, you're like, oh my god, 209, we're like fucking neighbors, woo! Because everybody else is from like Georgia and London and the Philippines, so nobody's close to you whatsoever. So somebody that's in the same halfway section of California, that's fucking somebody you could trust.
My job requires me of looking at a lot of like IDs, and I deal with a lot of tourists all day. So when I get someone, I get a lot of people from Modesto. So when I get someone from Modesto, I'm like, oh, I'm from Sonora. I'm like, oh, fucking cool. That's like 2 hours away, but 209, whatever. And then like
there's like related.
There's one time I got someone that had a Tuolumne ID, and it was like one of the only times it ever happened. And we were just like, oh, is so-and-so, because he moved away from a long time ago. And we got this whole like, oh, is that one Chinese restaurant still there? What about Steve's place? And all this stuff just breaking down.
It's like, yeah, Steve's place is still there. Dude, it fucking just went past its 100th anniversary.
I'm sorry, Austin. This just became very, very like
personal.
No, that's perfectly fine. I've only been to San Francisco twice as of right now, and I have the continuation of how I keep meeting people over there is I keep meeting Japanese people.
Oh, there's lots of them.
Well, yeah, because you're very close to Japan when you think about it U.S. wise.
Oh yeah, well, like the U.S. is like right on the other side of the water, but on the other hand, like over here, I don't get any Chinese people. So, well,
you're even farther away from China though, where you're at.
Yeah.
Literally like halfway across the world.
Yeah, we get a lot of Canadians though. Ironically, even though we're like an entire continent apart, Canadians like to come over here. Brazilians, which makes kind of sense because of the Bahamas and stuff like that.
No, you know what the Canadian thing, what it is because I remember when I was in Mexico, like when you go like deep Mexico, when you start skipping past all the tourist areas, where the idea of an American being there is kind of rare. You find a lot of Canadians though, because Canadians go, you know what? Fuck the cold, eh? Down here it's great. Look at me. I'm sitting out on the beach.
Yeah.
I got my own restaurant. It's the perfect setup.
It is.
We'll have to ask David Razzie about that.
Well, I think that's what it is. Wow, they just go, you know what? I'm 40 fucking years old, and you know what I hate? It's fucking snow and ice.
I think that's something I haven't been accustomed to yet. We don't have snow down here. We barely have fucking cold in Miami.
Yeah, I could see that not happening.
Yeah, me too. But at the same time, like whenever I travel somewhere, I try to go when it's the season, like whenever it's cold. Like when I went to San Francisco, I usually go around like July or August, and it's a nice temperature over there. It's a nice.
San Francisco stays kind of like a pretty much like it exists in its own world almost. Because no matter what the fucking temperature is in like all the surrounding areas of California,
it just has its own biodome.
It's like a biodome.
It's got this.
It's a biosphere. Biosphere. So
yeah, it's got this weird thing where it's like, especially during like the summer, like the first like 2 or 3 hours a day, at least on the Richmond side where I live, it's very foggy and very rainy, and then it's gonna clear up. It's gonna be bright and sunny all day, and then you have like tourists running around like in short shorts and tank tops, and then like 4:30 rolls around, here comes the fucking fog, and people are like, oh my fucking god, it's so fucking cold, like just like, that's why are you bringing a sweater with you? It's like 80 degrees right now. Yeah, right now. Wait till it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
I feel like my family being from Philadelphia, because they would have kind of like days like those where it would get like cold in the middle of the day, like drop from like 70 degrees all the way down to like 30. So, whenever I used to leave the house here, my mom used to be like, Austin, before you go, here, take a jacket, take an umbrella, and, here's a gun to fight off all the homeless people.
Yeah, you never know when that gun's gonna come in handy.
You never know when that Glock's gonna come in handy. And, before we continue with any of this, do you want to introduce the podcast today, good sir?
Yeah, good. I was kind of waiting for that
a good
spot.
idea.
So, hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And special guest.
And my name is Austin Cook.
Bam.
Before we get too far into it, we should probably get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way because we just did a couple of things. First thing I want to mention is we were guests on the Painted Black podcast. So both Spencer and myself, Pete, Lou, and Brian were awesome enough to have us come over, and they were awesome hosts and gave us a good time. So yeah, be sure to check out Painted Black.
Yeah, check out that Painted Black one. I think it's going to be a really funny episode. I thought everybody was pretty much on key there, so it should be cool to listen to.
I'll say there's like the first like two. I've kind of fucked up my intro because Pete totally spiked me the ball to say something funny at the beginning, but there's like a gap in the audio. So there's a part which is like, well, Ryan's been, and then the audio kind of caught up, a delay, and he's like, Ryan's a champ. I'm like, or he's not champ, but Ryan's been here before. He's a veteran. He's something to those effects. So it's like, yeah.
He was
a total opportunity for me to. A total opportunity for me to say, like, yeah, I got a silver. Yeah. If you listen to the first, like, but after that, though, I think everybody was pretty good, and that was a really good episode. It was really fun to do.
Yeah, it was cool. Funny. So, and
like, how many times have you prestiged, Ryan? Oh.
What's the prestige mean?
What the prestige? I only got a pistol, man. I don't know what an AK-47 is.
And then one thing I want to say real quick too. Speaking of Painted Black, they actually will be on the show like in the next episode or two coming up, probably give or take, depending on our scheduling. So. It's going to be this all mixed match of all kinds of guests till we get to episode 300.
When we get to 300, because we're just going to be out of ideas because we've had you on, Austin. We're going to try and get David Razzie on again, hopefully pretty soon. And then
Arnold Radio is going to come on.
Arnold Radio, yeah. So when we actually get to 300, we're going to do like, I don't know. Did you read the new Batman? No.
No, you want to watch Dark Knight Rises again just to be like, hey, remember the first episode?
You guys watched Dark Knight Rises on the first episode?
Yeah, that was
our first
right
episode
when
of
Dark
the
Knight
show.
Rises came out. We're like, dude, we should fucking do a podcast, and so it all kind of went from there. So in my
have
back
to
of
go
my
all the way
mind, I've
back
been thinking about 300 for a long
Don't.
time. So I'm like, you know
I'm
what?
gonna have to go all the way back there.
Well, I'm almost thinking like, even though I know we talked like the living daylights out of that movie, just for like fuck's sake, maybe even just watch Dark Knight Rises and do like a commentary on it for like, this is what we did on number 1 and 300. We're doing the same fucking thing.
Well,
I
time
think-
bro shit right there.
I think that maybe an audio commentary on it may not be such a bad idea because it's a long movie. We can cram that out. But at the same time, though, it's one of those things. I feel like it's like the first like 100 episodes, Dark Knight Rises was always somehow came at a topic because we would like defend the movie and then kick it down at the exact same time for something else. Now it's like almost like Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman almost replace it.
Yeah, they're probably like they're just covering each other in this blanket of like, what is going on here? I don't know. They're in the same universe apparently, so let's leave it alone.
Well, it's more like one of those things like people will like attack all those movies for something, and they're like, I don't blame the movie for that.
Yeah.
I blame the movie for this over here. And somehow that always worked its way into conversation. It's almost like Dark Knight Rises almost drifted away, but now it always comes back to Man of Steel.
Yeah, Dark Knight
Well, like-
Rises was there for a while.
Well, like with certain movies, like let's take some reboots. I'm not gonna do Ghostbusters because I'll throw up in my mouth. But
That means you're anti-feminist. You hate women if you don't like the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it means you're 100% feminist, Austin Feminist 2017, eh? But I've seen movies that end up doing some pretty cool reboots. The RoboCop reboot wasn't one of my favorites.
I
but
actually
was,
like that one. It's not as good as the original, but I still enjoyed it.
Neat. Yeah,
There's some
because of
things I
all the new
appreciate
tech
about it.
and stuff like that.
I appreciated that they're like trying something a little different with it, but at the same time, I think it needed more satire because that's what RoboCop mostly is.
Yeah. Well, like it's important to understand, like, you know, where a movie has come in so many years, and if we're just looking at it from the perspective of people who just miss the idea of the movie, like Power Rangers. I'm getting ready to see that movie, and I'm scared that I'm not gonna like it, kind of just because like I've seen this guy. He's up on Instagram. I forgot his name, but he did this fantastic concept art for like a better version of the costumes, and I tweeted to the movie. I was like, why didn't you guys just do this? Like, make it look all futuristic and stuff. And they emailed me, and they were like,
Go fuck yourself.
well, one of their
No.
it was
Thank you for your interest.
it was more of an explanation as to why. And they were like, well, you remember what Zordon said? We need teenagers with attitude, and I don't think rebooting an exact carbon copy of Power Rangers is going to be with attitude or like fresh or anything like that. And I didn't really have an answer in the beginning, and I was like, you're right. Is Alpha 5 going to be in it? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I can do with that.
I got a feeling they must have like a pre-ready response because they probably already have like a team ready. Okay, you guys handle all the Zordon questions. You guys handle all the questions about why the outfits look. You know, they're like, all right, we got one. Go, 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 go.
Who's on Green Ranger?
Yeah.
Oh,
I guarantee
who's on the
you
Green Ranger? Oh, shit.
I guarantee you there's either a mid-credits or post-credit sequence introducing Tommy as the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that because the Tommy is always, well, Jason David Frank has always been one of my favorite characters in the Power Ranger series, kind of just because I've always been a fan of the 6th Power Ranger idea, kind of like that guy that just shows up and he's fucking strong. Look at him. Look how cool he looks.
And he was evil first.
What was it? There was I think it was Power Rangers in Space, I believe it is. No, was it in Space?
They've been in space a few times.
I forgot which one it was, but they had this character. The way they introduced the 6th Ranger was the main character, the Red Ranger, had lost his brother some years ago when he was in the Black Ops with his brother, and his brother died, quote unquote. His body was possessed by this king who had a son, and his son died, and they kind of connected because he was like, I lost my brother, I lost my son. Well, let's form our powers together, and we can defeat evil. And then his brother found that Power Ranger in the cave, and then they became Power Rangers. And it was like, the way I'm explaining it is probably how a 5-year-old explains a complicated movie plot, but it was really sad, and it was an emotional episode. I think that's one of the things that I liked about Power Rangers, which is certain times in the show there would be moments where you're just like, why are you tugging on my heartstrings? Why is this not just you kicking someone's ass?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that if the show's been around long enough, they could actually do that. Because I remember Red. I mean, this is a way different kind of story, way different kind of writing. I mean, it's still science fiction. Red versus Blue. I remember when I was in high school and I watched the first 3 seasons of it, and it was all
Red
just a
versus
total.
Blue is cool.
It was all just a total comedy show, and action was very secondary.
Yeah.
By the time you get to season, like, I saw it all on Netflix, but I'll catch up on this. By the time you get to season, like, 7, they start having their own CG models, having, like, big, giant Final Fantasy-style fights, and then they actually had a real story. I mean, there's comedy still there, but it was all actually had emotional stuff happening at the very end. So it's one of those things, I think if you just whatever the series is, if it just hangs in there long enough, eventually, though, they will, like, the writers themselves will get attached to the characters. Because I guarantee you, when they first made Power Rangers, like, here's something we can just sell some fucking plastic to some kids. You just fucking throw it out there. And I bet, like, that was part of their attitude for a while, and probably to some degree. But some of the people working on it probably actually grew attached to the characters, like the guy who plays the Green Ranger.
Who was it? I forgot the name of the guy who made Power Rangers, but
Saban.
I met. Huh?
It's literally the guy, like the Saban guy who has all like the TV shows and like that.
Yeah,
I don't know what his first name is. It's something Saban.
No, it's something Oliver actually. I think his last name is Oliver.
That might be like the main producer guy, but the guy, because you'd always see Saban, the logo at the very end of the credits.
Yeah,
but like that guy's like the main guy put it all together. But then I know there's like creative talents in there too.
Yeah. Well, like when I was over there at Animate Florida recently, Animate Miami or Animate Florida, he was over there and he was doing a panel that David Sobolov told me to go to. And when I went over there, he was showing people like some of the first takes of Power Rangers, like some of the first ever released footage or some of the stuff that they went over. Holy shit, it was racist.
Huh.
Remember that when Power Rangers came out in, I think it was 19
Black Ranger was black, Yellow Ranger was Asian.
That's not racist though. I don't think that's racist.
Well, no,
it's kind of like weird timing. It's weird.
When they introduced Bulk and Skull, like those two goofballs.
Yeah, I know Bulk and Skull.
They introduced them as some real misogynist greasers.
They were kind of douchebags.
Yeah, well, they went over like a few different times to get it like just right. It's like, is this really kid friendly when the Yellow Ranger goes up and starts beating the shit out of everybody, and like it was very violent, and like to give that to somebody like a producer, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say no to that. But overall, when I ended up finding out that the original scene was super violent and crazy, when we saw it, I was like, I think I actually remember seeing this. And the guy was like, yeah, we released it by accident.
Well, Power Rangers was that show that when I was a kid, there were a lot of people couldn't watch it because of the violence in there, which is always like one of the ones like, dude, your fucking parents suck. But because it's like, come on, it's not like you're out there watching, some super R-rated movie. It's just like, okay, there's fucking martial arts in it. It's like,
yeah.
I remember like every morning on like
Ed and Eddie.
I remember when I every morning in elementary school, they'd say over the announcer like, "Okay, so today's Billy's birthday. Everybody wish Billy a birthday," and this and that. And then like I'll stand. Also before recess, remember, there's no football, and no playing Power Rangers because there's always some news story about some dumbass kid who got kicked in the face while playing Power Rangers, and then you're like, well, that kid's a fucking pussy.
Yeah, you should take a kick to the face like a man.
Yeah, I just like, all right, we're not gonna play Power Rangers. We're gonna play Bruce Lee instead.
Yeah, just switch it on him.
Yeah.
Oh, we weren't playing Power Rangers. We were playing Clint Eastwood.
We're gonna play Enter the Dragon. Well, who's gonna be the big black guy or no, that's the Street Fighter. Who's gonna be the big black guy that like ends up like trying to rape the girl?
Oh well. We're gonna play
the girl in the group. So Billy, you're playing the girl.
No, but I got raped last time. Well, you're getting raped again, damn it.
In 2015, they're like, we're gonna play the Revenant, right? And I'm like, who's gonna rape the bear?
I didn't even think about that because there's the part where
Who's gonna rape the bear?
Well, no. I remember being a kid and like kids would want to play the most random things. Like, I mean, I get it because you were a kid, you saw that movie, but it'd be like, let's play cliffhanger or let's play like I'm just thinking
the cliffhanger one was an important one then.
Someone pushed little Billy off of a cliff. I don't know why. That was that really didn't go the way I wanted.
It's basically one kid trying to push another kid off the jungle gym. Is what it was at the end of the day.
Oh, that's what a cliffhanger is. Ah!
Well, it was always like, hey, how can we create like this? Because I remember back in the day, I don't know what kind of like jungle gyms you had at your school, but originally where I was at in Twainhart, they had the fucking wooden ones that are like super illegal nowadays. Because you fucking like touch the wood and it's all splintery and everything because it was probably made in the 70s or something like that. And that one was always the one where people get fucking kicked off the top of the fucking jungle gym and go land on the sand and whatnot.
Imagine how many kids are playing like. Imagine how many kids are playing like 300. Like how many kids got just fucking Leonidas kicked off like a seesaw or some shit or into a sandbox.
See, by the time 300 came out though, that was like when they started really like pulling parks out though and making them kind of like as safe as possible. So I don't know if it was like 300 in 1995, maybe, but 300 in 2005 or whatever, that might be a little bit harder to find stuff.
I'm just imagining that morning announcement. Oh, go ahead, Austin.
I think it came out in 2006.
Oh yeah,
right?
probably something.
Seven or
it wasn't
something
7,
like that.
I know that, but
6 or 7, something around that area. But I mean, not even that. I'm just imagining because there was like when we were kids, there was that thing. Okay, kids, just don't fucking play Power Rangers. Someone's gonna get kicked in the mouth. And then now it's just like now it'd have to be okay. Don't play Power Rangers. Don't play 300. Don't play touch football. Don't play the Revenant. Don't play Street Fighter.
I still love the Revenant one. I think that one's fucking hilarious. Like,
there's got to be some kids out there who got
Jimmy, stop raping the bear.
There's got to be some kids out there that's just like, I'll be the Frenchman that kidnaps the Indian girl. That's had to happen.
Yeah, it's like I want to be Tom Hardy.
Who's gonna play the Hateful Eight?
Yeah.
Who's gonna play the Hateful
Eight? All these kids, they go into like some little like plastic house up thing, and they're all inside there. It's like the yard dude's just looking like, dude, these kids lock themselves in there for 45 minutes at a time. What the fuck are they doing? It's like, oh, they're inside.
Dropping the N-word every other word. Yeah.
They're playing Hateful
Oh, they're
Eight
playing
inside.
American Pie.
It's okay. After a week's worth of time of playing this game, all of a sudden shit's gonna go down.
Because the thing is, there always was that kid that saw like the R-rated movies when he wasn't supposed to, and now with the internet and YouTube, I mean, my nephew, he is way more like my 10-year-old nephew. He may not know as much as I do, but he knows way more than I did at that age. He knows that he knows who Michael Bay is. He knows that certain franchises and Disney owns this, so that means Fox can't make another X-Men movie, and they can't make it. That's why Disney can't make an X-Men movie. He knows that kind of stuff. So it's like, I can only imagine that plays itself into the playground at some point. You know what I mean? So like, oh no, you can't be Wolverine because Disney don't own. You know what I mean?
Marvel Studios, not fucking Marvel Comics. You faggot.
That has to come.
Oh yeah, like I feel like the way that the way that things have gone, it kind of, at the same time that I'm appreciative that the comic book world and the movie world has kind of collided into this little baby, I feel like it's become more of an issue because of the fact that really kids don't seem like they're very comfortable with the current standing in the community. Like, I've been reading comic books since I was like a little kid. I remember when I got my first Ultimate Spider-Man comic book. It was about the same time that I got the game, the one for the PS2 that we were talking about. Mm-hmm. And I loved it so much. I had so much fun with it. But then, like, now as I've grown up and as I've seen like the comic book world kind of grow together into this hipster morphed monster, if I could draw it, it's kind of like when Eric Cartman became that giant tub of bullshit.
You mean on the what the fuck was that? The Trapper Keeper episode?
Yeah, the Trapper Keeper episode. Imagine that, but that's kind of what hipsters have become. They've become this collection of retro shit and a nuanced like critique on it. And like, it frustrates me to a degree, but it also makes me kind of thankful that we're keeping an eye on the past. We're keeping an eye on, what used to be, and hopefully people are learning from it, even though if they don't, they're still, bringing up older topics and still mentioning it. But at the same time, I see a lot of people.
Go ahead, man. Sorry. I thought.
Well,
Go ahead.
I've seen that like people, especially people my age, are starting to become quote unquote triggered by everything that kind of like passes by their face. Like, God forbid they see I remember it was a moment in Ultimate Spider-Man when like Venom comes down and eats a little kid. Nowadays people would lose their fucking minds. But when that came out, it was something that just flew over my head as a kid. I was like, he just killed the kid, so what? And I'm like, holy shit, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, he's just drained that kid's life energy.
Regarding two different things right there. Regarding first off, just on stuff regarding hipsters or whatever. I feel like that there's almost different classes of hipster, like anything, like they all branch off from their own thing. And there's some people where just like you got those that are very retro and they like that stuff from the past, but at the same time it's ironic or it's so cheesy, it's cool or whatever. And then you got those that are almost just kind of like they just, not that they dislike or hate everything, they just kind of like the fashion and maybe like some of the obscure stuff for genuinely. And then you get the ones that are like, there's more subsets in this, but I'm just blowing it down to 3 or 4 here.
We're gonna categorize.
And then you get the ones that are, they just gotta put them in a fucking box.
You gotta know our enemy now.
Then you get the ones that are just like, they're basically just, I've seen them multiple times, like the ones that are very bro-y, they don't really have a whole lot to say. They just almost kind of roll their eyes at whatever they see. They just happen to have a lot of tattoos.
Roasters.
An ironic mustache, and then like a big puffy beard or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of things. And as I'm saying, like, I don't mean your tattoos. I see you actually. I'm not.
My tattoos are cool.
Well, literally, if you combine all 3 of us together, we might actually turn into a hipster. That's the weird, scary part.
Yeah, no, I mean,
the power of Dunigan's beard, Austin's tattoos, and my Friday the 13th, the NES video game T-shirt. We will become an ironic hipster.
We will become the ironic TV
Spencer has the glasses.
Yeah, I got fucking glasses. See, that's what I mean. That's the scary part. You put all 3 of us together like it's some kind of like concoction. Fucking like stirring the pot like a witch's brew. And next thing you know, we'll come out and be like, oh!
Everything's so stupid. Everything's so cliche. Nothing matters anymore.
I got my best.
Where's the craft brewery at? Is this a sour beer?
Glasses.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Glasses, tattoos, and shirts. All together, my concoction.
Let's throw a fanny pack in there for the fuck of it.
Then we're gonna be like The Rock. Or any bodybuilder. I don't know what it is. Bodybuilders is like cool. That's where fanny packs.
I like The Rock a lot. I think he's pretty he looks really
Dude, The Rock's like amazing. Everything The Rock does is amazing. Like, I think we should only just throw more money at him. He's got the most money right now as an actor, but it's like, I feel like he doesn't have enough. He needs more of my money.
I will say this regarding, it's kind of like, if our podcast focuses on several different things, I'm going to say Batman, Cowboy Bebop, Bruce Springsteen, Clint Eastwood, and I'm definitely, without even noticing it, The Rock is very
prominent.
Is he?
He literally has a lot of titles on our podcast, actually, if you think about it.
I didn't even know that. Get the fuck out of here. Really?
Well, it's just one of those
we love Dwayne The Rock
Johnson. He has about 3 or 4 movies a year. We pretty much see almost all of them. And then if he's not doing a movie, he's doing something else. So he comes up quite a bit.
Well, I was actually gonna say regarding you said your generation about, like, you said people getting triggered easily, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'll come back to The Rock in a second. We'll close this out.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that it's almost like we're at this point where I think people's hearts are in the right place for some of that kind of stuff, but I feel like it's one of those things, like, people are almost kind of like, not everybody, but a lot of people are almost kind of like, they find out something like, why does this exist? Well, it came from a different time. People's views were a little different back then. Not everyone had as much of a voice. But now we see it, so we kind of acknowledge it for what it is. That shouldn't be that. Well, I mean, it happened. We're trying to...
Sorry, buddy.
We're trying to correct it. We can't make that thing now, but we can acknowledge the flaws of it. Like, no. This is bad. It shouldn't, or they'll get mad, like, if something's not tailor-made for them. Not everybody, but it's like, this is another thing we brought up before. Like, there's that Killing Joke cover for Batman. With Batgirl that Raphael Albuquerque made, and there's that whole hashtag change the cover, and it was just like, okay, quick question: do you think Joker's gonna win at the end of the day?
Yeah,
you don't.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like people kind of almost get too this isn't made for me. Wrap everything in bubble wrap so I don't get my feelings hurt. I feel like, and I'm not saying going out there, you should be able to, you just say whatever the fuck you want with no repercussions. I'm not saying that,
No,
but I do think that people are almost being too sensitive.
Watch what you say,
well, at the end of the day, you're in fucking America, where the number one thing is you get your freedom of speech, goddammit. So if you can't say or do whatever you kind of want, as long as it doesn't infringe on somebody else's freedom, I feel like it's okay. You know what I mean? And yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, dude, that's one of the main ways you make a comic book cover is you put the hero in peril, because that's kind of thing. You're like, oh fuck, you know, Riddler's got Batman stuck in this like pile of goop. Why is he in pile of goop? I don't know, but you got to read the fucking comic to find out. Now, don't you? Just $3.99.
And even though it's 15 pages long, we have it ready for you. We have an answer for you. Sorry, you got to read the next comic, but you did find out a little bit of what's happening.
I got kind of a good comparison here.
Let me hear.
For like double standards and that kind of thing. Now, there is that movie, there's this movie coming out. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Rough Night. And it looks kind of like a Bridesmaids kind of movie, like a girl, like, gross out comedy about a bunch of lady actresses. That's redundant. About a bunch of actresses. It's called, I think, Rough Night. It has Scarlett Johansson, and it has a bunch of, like, famous actresses. It's basically a party movie. And what ends up happening in the movie, I just saw the trailer for it, they end up accidentally killing this hot guy stripper. And then they're trying to almost get rid of the body. And they're transporting around town. So they have like this dead shirtless... They got this dead shirtless stud with sunglasses on as he's part of their group, kind of going through parts of it. Now, that does not offend me. I'm fine with that. I don't care. But imagine how weird and awkward and kind of creepy it would be if that was reversed. Yeah. If that was a bunch of guys with a dead girl in a bikini, they're kind of like lugging around, you know?
And see, that's the thing that bothers me is the fact that they can do that, but if the movie went the exact opposite way, they would be up in arms.
We'd be shamed.
Which is stupid, because it's like, it should be... See, I'm just one of those... I'm like an equalist. I think everything should be equal across the fucking board. You know, and at the end of the day, sometimes I kind of look at when people are complaining about different rights, it's like, they're like, oh, we're not equal, we're not equal, we're not equal. We want this, 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 and that, which technically what they're asking for is they actually want to be superior. And it's like, no. Yeah. And sometimes I think people forget, too, that we are actually sort of equal in different ways, too, where women have a lot more rights that men don't have, and then men have certain rights that women sort of don't have. And it's just, I mean, that's kind of just how society's been built. But you know what I mean? Yeah, at the end of the day, if you did a pro and con list for both sides, you'd probably go, you know what? We're equal in just different ways. You know what I mean? And same with, like, you know, different races and everything like that, too. Because there's certain things that, like, a lot of other races can do that white people can't do. So it's like, by that standard, you know, and then lots of times, too, whenever they throw out the, oh, Whitey's doing this, who they're talking about is fucking rich Whitey, which doesn't include any of us. We're not part of that group. We're literally just, you know, regular Joe white folk. You know, we're like one step above trailer trash, but not that far away, I guess, at the same time, sadly enough.
I'm only a little bit above Red.
We're like pulling up. We're like looking above the trailer, like peering over, like exactly. Pull up.
Just right above.
Well, I will say that I'm not trying to, like, you know, say, I was just trying to make a point right there. I wasn't trying to, like, shame that movie for doing that, because that movie doesn't bother me. That movie's doing that.
But you were just giving an example.
Is the stripper Tom Morello? Because that'd make me really go see it.
No, I don't know who it is. He's probably somebody, but I don't know who the guy is. But anyway, regarding the whole thing, you said, like, being equal on race and that kind of shit. I think you got a point that there's some things that people can get away with that others can't. I still think there's a huge divide in the country, though, regarding things like, you know, I think white privilege definitely is a thing, and that is definitely
about white privilege. I'm going to point
that's not all, though. That's not all. I'm just saying.
Rich white people privilege. That's not poor people.
Just bear with me.
I don't really get it.
If you and I got pulled over by a cop, it would be an entirely different experience. If it was, I'm not saying that, like,
remember that time that cop, we were fucking outside eating Taco Bell at midnight, which doesn't sound like a good thing, and that cop showed up. And
that sounds about the same thing I was doing last night. I ate Taco Bell.
I haven't had Taco Bell in so long, but okay, me and Dunigan, we were fucking. There's this, you know, Taco Bell, and behind there's this gym behind it, which that's actually kind of ironic when you think about it. And then behind that gym, there's this kind of cool pull-out area that you can kind of hang out and look at the highway and everything.
It's just sounding gayer and gayer.
It really is. It sounds gay. It sounds like a 1950s movie. It's like, hey, you want to go to the cliff and make out? Except for it's like two dudes like, hey, you want to go to the cliff? And it's like, suck each other's dicks? Yeah.
Oh, eat Taco Bell?
Well, eat Taco Bell.
You guys want to go eat some Taco Bell under the...
I'll put my dick in the chalupa and you eat through it.
Eating my
But okay,
it'll be like a spicy taquito.
as gay as it sounds, like, okay, me and Dunigan were out there, you know, it was probably after a movie or something. This sounds even fucking gay.
It was a party. We were a party, and you were driving. I was drunk. God, it's just getting gayer. And I let's get some fucking Taco Bell.
I was shit-faced.
Okay, so we're out in fucking Dunigan Subaru here. We're sitting there. We're fucking
just got gayer.
We're just putting the levels of gayness. We're eating Taco Bell, and all of a sudden, this like cop pulls up, and this guy just comes out, and he's just acting as douchey as can be. And then there's another guy in the cab, but I really do not think that was another cop. I think that was like his buddy. He was like, "Dude, I'll show you what it's like to be a cop. It's pretty cool. We'll go like fucking dick around with some people." Because that guy never got out.
We're gonna go pull over those stoners.
And well, yeah, and the guy comes up to us. And he's just like thinking we must be drunk. He's like, "What are you guys doing fucking back here?" I'm like, we're eating Taco Bell.
Fucking back here.
Midnight.
We're fucking back here.
You know, and he's just kind of going, "Huh? Really? What? You guys don't have girlfriends or something? Like, is that why you're out this late?" And it's like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck are you questioning us for? He's like, "Yeah, huh?" He starts looking in the back of the car. He's like, "What's in the gym bag? Selling drugs? Huh? Is that what's going on here? What's going on here, guys?"
I say, and he's like, "What's in the gym bag?" I'm like, "Gym clothes."
Aww.
He's like, "Huh,
I even said,
don't really look like it."
I even kind of gave him just a little bit of sass. I was like, you could see it if you want.
Yeah.
You know,
we could show you. We could show you.
I had nothing to hide in that car. I was working off I was just working off like just trying to sober up. But anyway,
yeah, exactly.
And Spencer was sober as can be because he doesn't drink. So
we're just at this point where it's just like, dude, it's like, what the fuck are you hassling? And that's what I mean, though. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna hassle just as much as anybody else would have. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say that. Dude. It's an entirely different experience. Because keep in mind that we live in a small little redneck town. People are bored. If you get like a young cop, that guy was a younger cop. If you get a young cop, he's on a power trip. He's gonna be big dick swinging around. Yeah. If you go to if you come here and you talk to a cop, they got in San Francisco, I should say. They got shit to do. They have shit to do. They're not going to bother. They're not going to bother with, what the fuck are you doing here? Or just get out of here. He's not going to shine his light saying, what's in the gym bag? Get the fuck. He's not going to be doing what this guy
Well, yeah, because in San Francisco, I remember back in the day before like marijuana was legal, there would literally be people smoking joints and like cops would just walk by. It's just like, it was just not a big enough deal for them. They had bigger
They
problems.
Still fucking do that. When I was in fucking, what was it? What's that big park? I forgot its name.
Golden Gate Park?
In San Francisco?
No, the other one. Yeah, in San Francisco.
Presidio?
What was that?
Presidio or
no, not Presidio. Dolores Park. Dolores Park. And me and my friends, like, for some reason, I think it's every Sunday, people gather up over there just to sit there and smoke weed. I feel like
I hate Dolores Park. I really don't fucking like it, but yeah.
I kind of do because we were able to order food onto the side of the park, which was actually kind of nice.
From what?
To me, it's always so fucking crowded. It's always filled with a bunch of like hipster fucks and techies. So.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
And I have some techie friends and I have some hipster friends, but like it's just like I can handle a few of you, but you guys in the groups.
Yeah, it was a different time. There was this guy walking around with this. He had like these weed truffles inside of this little glass dome, and he would pick them up with a little scooper and he'd give them to people. And I was like, is this going to kill me? He's like, won't if you don't jump off the hill. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I felt like my body was taped to the floor because I was like, oh, I can't get up now. Fuck.
Hopefully a bear doesn't come by right now.
Oh, God. Yeah, God forbid.
You're not far from the Castros. That's a possibility.
Yeah. Oh. Just some big man coming out. He's like, there's one. He can't escape.
I seen the Revenant.
Just starts running on all fours like this man.
Just a man just literally running on all fours. It was like, I feel like if you see someone running like on all fours, they're probably either insane or incredibly
powerful,
like, very animalistic.
Yeah, well, they're very like
primal
too, because anybody can run on all fours like that long, sprinting. That's pretty good talent. Yeah,
like that's like a horse. So to switch over the subject a little bit, I was going to propose a topic that a friend of mine wanted to ask everybody. Well, it was a friend of mine and me. What projects does everybody in this little conversation have coming up for them that you are excited and able to talk about?
Ryan, you go first.
Spencer?
Ryan's good.
Okay, well I got.
Because he's got special projects, but I don't know which ones he wants to talk about.
Special project.
Special project.
I got one that just kind of came up. I meant to bring it up earlier in the show, but it just slipped my mind. We started a second show actually. I'm doing.
And there goes that second show.
Oh, there's the show. Fuck. We lost Dunigan. No, Dunigan!
It's like, I'm starting a second show. It's just like, bloop.
Ah, shit.
Oh, there he goes. See, like he's full on gone. See, that the podcast is like, yeah, go fuck your second show. You ain't getting no fucking second show.
You ain't getting no second show on my podcast, boy. You dedicated to this 300 episodes. Fuck you. Oh, poor Dunigan.
His fucking internet's just gonna get him. Gonna get him, I tell you.
If that could not have stopped at a more perfect point.
I know that actually sometimes it's like one of those ones, like even though it stopped and it's kind of a pain in the ass to see this kind of like take its sweet time to get him back.
Yeah, but that was like the perfect stopping point for that.
It really was, though. At the end of the day, it's pretty funny.
It is. This is good material for the podcast, I guess.
Except for now we're at that limbo point. It's like, is he gonna come back on, or do we just like?
I made the investment of buying jelly beans.
Is that a good one or a bad investment?
Well,
because sometimes those ideas start off as good ideas, and then about halfway through, you're like, why? Why did I do this?
I'm about halfway through, and I still have some good jelly beans. No, there's a lot of them there that I like. Most of the ones that I ate boysenberry, fruit punch, very blue, red delicious, ice cream cake, roasted marshmallow, French vanilla. The only one I don't like is the spicy cinnamon and the black licorice. That's the only two flavors I don't like in this one.
Huh. Yeah, black licorice is such a... Like, my dad loves black licorice, but 90%
I don't know why I do not like it. I don't like it.
It's very old people candy.
It is. And listen, like, I like jelly beans a lot. Like, jelly beans are kind of nice because it's like you're eating a flavored gum, but you can just swallow it wherever you want.
See, and the thing about like black licorice, what it tastes like to me, it tastes like eating stuff pre-World War II. One even. Like it makes you it's like a time travel.
Look how negative that looks.
I know. That's literally like let's travel 100 years back in time, like instantaneously by eating that.
Let's eat a black pebble.
Yeah.
Well, this could either be Java or black licorice. Cheers.
Okay, I bet you I just got a text message. I bet you that's Ryan. Let's see. He's offline right now. Oh,
it's Tootsie Roll. What the fuck?
That sounds fucking nasty.
I like Tootsie Roll.
Well, yeah, but not as a jelly bean. Maybe it's not that bad, but that just sounds nasty.
Well, the only thing is, the flavors here are really good because this company that sells the jelly beans, they basically make them to imitate the taste and the overall feeling of the thing it's imitating. Like, let's take, for example, the roasted marshmallow. It's very fluffy when you eat it. Like, the inside is actually very fluffy, kind of like a marshmallow. Mm-hmm. And if we jump over to maybe something like the coconut. The coconut actually has coconut flakes inside of it. Little coconut flakes, but coconut flakes nonetheless.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I appreciate the little things that go into, making tasty little treats like these. Also, it's nice. It's a giant thing that my friend paid like $7 for, and I can just eat them whenever I want, which is kind of nice considering I'm in my room most of the time.
Yeah, it keeps you like sort of occupied. Strange enough for myself, I'm really not a very big sweets person. Like I don't like chocolates, I don't really like candy, I don't like cakes, I don't like cookies. It's kind of weird. It's not saying like, every once in a while, you have a cookie. It's like, it's not so bad. But for the most part, I just have never been. Well, yeah. It's kind of a weird thing.
You really don't want to, push yourself with all that because in all reality, eating all that candy and shit like that, like my mom, for example, she would always eat so much candy and shit like that. It legitimately like tore apart her teeth, and she would always have this little jar in her room full of candy. And I was like, why do you have that? Does your diet only consist of candy? And she's like, it's there for anybody. And I'm like, cool. And then like now I have a jar of candy in my room, and I'm like, it's nice for a treat. When you get back home from work and you're sitting down, you're going to play some video games. You have your cup of water next to you. You have maybe a pretzel or something like that. Maybe an orange slices or so. And you look over and you're like, oh, maybe I want to try one of these pina colada ones. And then just...
Yeah, it gives you something a little small and so on to eat, kind of try out and whatnot. But yeah, strange enough, it's like, yeah, myself, I've never really been into sweets, which I think, in general, that's a good thing. Because at the end of the day, sugar's just...
Probably,
sure, it's small quantities, that whatever, but for the most part, no matter,
It's like drinking wine. You really shouldn't do it a lot.
you know, it's gonna well, it's like they did a study like on like ancients in like Iceland area and everything like that, because back in the day they didn't have anything. They
Yeah.
pretty much had all meat diets because no vegetables grew, no fruits really grew in those areas, and you know, Greenland, all like pretty much anybody who's Norse,
Yeah.
like a lot of those areas.
Yeah,
So it was
exactly.
all, you know, a complete meat diet, and at the end of the day, their teeth were actually fantastic because of that, because there was
Yeah.
no sugar. They had no sugar whatsoever. You know, and as long as you got meat and fat, that's the key thing. You can eat meat all day long as long as you got fat. It's kind of that thing where they
Exactly.
say
As long as you're gaining that protein that your body needs.
but you need the fat,
Eh,
you need the soluble fat to be able to process it. That's why they always say it's like if you're out in the woods and you're
Yeah.
lost and you eat only rabbits, because that's like the leanest meat known to mankind, you'll pretty much die because you'll end up dehydrating yourself and you won't be able to retain all that meat because there's no fat in those rabbits.
Huh. So if you killed something like, a deer, that'd be different though.
Yeah, it's like the key thing is to eat that fat. That fat is like the key thing for survival.
Exactly.
Which
Well, that's why bacon's so fucking good.
well, that's what I mean, yeah, because bacon, that's very important because it's got the fat in it, you know.
Yeah.
Or it's, you know, the other thing too is like this is the number one way. Like whenever they always say when people like end up dying out in the woods, all they had to do, even if it's like winter or anything like that, is you just got to eat insects because that will keep you alive more than anything else. It sounds so weird, but it has the fat, has the nutrients, has the protein in it, and all you gotta do is generally dig in the ground, pull up rocks, and you'll find them no matter what season it is. And they
But
always
you got to know which ones to eat though, because
there's
certain
ones.
insects, like I can't just go outside and like eat one of the beetles out there. You got to have some type of knowledge prior to going into it.
But at the end of the day, when you get fucking like,
Oh,
you never
yeah.
know. Like I always like to assume that at one point you never know. You might be just stranded somewhere. Next thing you know, it's like,
Exactly.
oh fuck, I'm out here. I gotta fucking survive. And your primal
I
natures
have
are
to
gonna
survive.
kick back in. You know what I mean?
And then
Next
you're just
thing you know, it's
like,
gonna be like
you're like,
Rambo 1.
I can
You're
do
gonna be
this.
fighting it off.
You're like, all right, well, I got to do this. There was this thing that I did when I was a real young kid. Well, it was like 4 years ago, but I went hunting with a few friends of mine, and we went hunting over in Alabama. And I waited inside of a tree for almost 3 hours. It was like we had food and everything like that, but I wanted to do a little bit of hunting because I knew we were gonna run out of the food because we were already. It's not a very big mountain, but it was a pretty big mountain enough that we were gonna be up there for a few days, and I decided to be the one to go hunting because I brought my bow and arrow with me.
Mhm.
I did not decide to bring a gun because I couldn't get the license for a gun, but you can always buy a bow and arrow from Bass Pro Shops.
See, and that's the thing though. I like the bow and arrow though. I always feel a gun
Oh yeah,
in hunting is like cheating. You know what I mean? There's
it's
no
a
like
cheat code.
yeah,
It's
it
a cheat
is. It's
code.
like a bow and arrow, like that to me, that's skill. That's like, you know, being out there in the wild, being at one with nature in that primal sort of way, yet you still have like the little bit of technology that makes you human.
It's a little bit of both. It really is a little bit of both because I've used guns before. I've shot my fair share of rifles and things like that. I was never generally scared of shooting guns, especially considering the fact that if in a tight situation, a bow and arrow is not as responsive as a gun. A gun, a gun will take out my enemy as fast and effectively as possible. And if it's not a gun, if I have to fight a knife or anything like that, I can kick the shit out of them. I trained myself to disarm people and to protect myself and to, really be ready for those situations. But if people don't have that in those situations, I would suggest a gun for certain protection. I don't suggest it for people that don't know what they're doing though, because
because I think it's like one of those ones like gun people should definitely, if you're gonna have a gun, you gotta put the fucking training in, just like anything else.
Yeah.
I feel.
Well, like with a bow and arrow, it took me almost 3 months to be able to actually shoot a bow and arrow like straight.
Yeah, not where it goes like floppy and stuff, but
I almost shot myself like 3-4 different times.
Or like when you slap your fucking wrist with the fucking bow.
God,
oh my god!
I was holding it. I wasn't holding it like this. I was holding it like this, and then it just whipped my hand, and I felt like I wanted to cry.
You do that about 2 or 3 times, and it really teaches you. You're like, yep, don't fucking do that again.
But no, it's certainly an interesting situation. I sat up in that tree for about 4 hours, and I waited for this little buck to come through. I found out it had a father, and that guy I think he was 6 or 7 points. Mm-hmm. The amount of points on his antlers, I don't even remember, but I shot him in the back of the neck, and then I jumped on top of him, and it was not the arrow that killed him, but me with my forearm landing on the back of his neck. I broke his neck.
Oh wow.
But the only thing is the tree was really tall, so I ended up actually fracturing my forearm. What fucking bone is this? Because there's two over here. The one on the far opposite side. I ended up like having a minor fracture, but I'm surprised I didn't break anything because when I fell on him, it was like falling on top of a car.
Why is Ryan calling me while we're on the show? Yo, Ryan. Yeah, we're still here waiting.
Yeah,
hanging out.
We're waiting to hear about the rest of your projects.
And hopefully that one has like a better I don't fucking know. I'll get back to you, Jeff.
Okay, we'll just carry on.
Okay, I fucking hate my internet.
Okay, dude. We'll talk to you.
That was a very real statement by Mr. Ryan Dunigan, everybody. I believe he legitimately hates his internet with a fiery passion.
I know. I told him, I'm like, dude, fucking AT&T's got like unlimited data hotspots now. Get that instead. That's gonna have, as long as you got the cell phone service. San Francisco's kind of weird about cell phone service though, because their buildings are all made to withstand earthquakes. So lots of times when you're indoors, you get shitty cell phone service. So I don't know. But
yeah, well, like I think that's awesome because if they can withstand earthquakes and shit, that's fantastic.
Well, I guess we'll find out the day that the big earthquake happens how well they're built. But
yeah, have you had any earthquakes where you are in the recent few months?
Yeah, actually, and the weird thing is, because where I'm at, strange enough, even though I'm in California, since I'm on the east side by Yosemite, you really don't get a whole lot of earthquakes because you're kind of past that fault line.
Oh, lucky you.
But there was one in Mammoth Lake areas, which is over on the other side of Yosemite, kind of on the far east, middle California, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
There was one, and I remember I was just laying in bed, and it was like maybe midnight or something, and all of a sudden it was like, tuk, 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 and the whole fucking house started shaking, and it was a long one. I mean, it probably went like 20 seconds or something like that. And then literally maybe about 25 minutes later, there was another one. And I kid you not, like I haven't felt an earthquake where I'm at here in like maybe 20 years or so. It's been a long time. And even when I was in San Francisco, there was like a couple like minor earthquakes, but just depending on where you're at, like a lot of times they just kind of rattle so slightly that they almost feel like a controller vibrating on like your couch.
Oh, weird.
So you almost don't notice it that much. But this last one though, it was actually kind of cool how big it was. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Really? Like it woke you up in the middle of the night, huh?
Yeah, wake you up in the middle of the night and just it's like you're fucking on a ride, roller coaster ready to go. Woo!
I've never actually been in an earthquake. The times I would stay in San Francisco for maybe like a week. Yeah, I'd say for about a week at a time. So within that week, I would be like, well, if I feel an earthquake, I hope I get to experience that. Not like hoping to get an earthquake. Like I don't want to die, but you know.
But you want to see it though. It's this weird thing. Yeah. You're like, I want to see it fucking just like rock the living daylights out of this place. Even though I know it sounds dangerous and scary, but it also sounds cool at the same time.
Yeah, like I want to know what it feels like because I see these videos and shit like that, and I'm led to believe it's terrible because like the crust of the earth is moving against itself. And it sounds insane. But then when I look at the videos, the camera is just shaking and everybody's moving around. And I'm like, you're not buying me. You're not buying me.
Yeah, it's one of those ones like, you know, for the handful that I have felt, and that last one probably was the biggest one I've ever felt in my entire life. But as I said, like on the eastern side of California, it's not really that big of a deal because where that whole fault line kind of knocks out, it's like San Francisco and San Jose and LA and all those areas are all the ones really affected by it. But on the east side, you're like, whatever, fuck it. Like once like California splits, we'll be like, you know, all of like 30 minutes away from like the coastline. It'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. Like it will be less of you're basically made a fair investment into you're already on the coastline.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like I just got coastline at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Next
exactly.
thing you know, Yosemite will be right there on you. Like, hey, well, you know, you're half an hour away from the coast. What the heck?
Yeah, my grandparents made the smart decision of moving down to Miami, and we're right on the water. Soon we're gonna be underwater.
Yeah, there is definitely that there you got to think about.
I'm definitely considering moving somewhere. I think, in my personal opinion, like because I do want to pursue this acting career as far as I possibly can because there's so many opportunities for it. There's so many opportunities to get like really good and to meet lots of people and to just, you know, really get your face out there and to meet so many fun people and do so many projects that like I don't really know where to start because like that's
Now, where are
all.
you thinking of moving?
I have
In
no clue yet. I,
future.
I see places like I see places like New York. I see places like Los Angeles, like San Francisco.
Now,
Places that I would like to.
if I would put my 2 cents into it from my sort of experiences,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would literally go either LA or New York and don't go to anywhere else generally unless there was a full-on job for you there. And
Yeah.
the only reason I say that is because, I originally, like my entire life, I always wanted to go to LA, but somehow, some way, it's like, out of high school, it was like, my buddy's like, hey, I'm going to San Francisco. You want to come along with me? I'm like, well, fucking ain't right. I want to go to San Francisco. Let's go. So we go to San Francisco, and I thought there would be a lot more like kind of video opportunities and movie stuff going on there. Nope, not at all.
Nah,
San Francisco, unless you want to work at like a TV station, like that's fucking all there really is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then at the end of the day, you kind of realize it's not that San Francisco's not cool, but it's the half-ass LA.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And then later on, too, me and my buddy, we were in this band, and we're like, well, dude, let's fucking, like, we'll just go somewhere else to change it up. And I don't know what it is. Like, sometimes there's that thing in you where it's like, I want to pick something a little bit different that nobody else goes to, but that'll be kind of cool. And we were tossing up, like, we can go to Austin, we can go to Vegas, we can go to Tennessee. And we decided, let's go to Nashville, Tennessee. That sounds so fucking weird and ballsy.
Oh, yeah, that's going to make you the billions.
In Nashville, it's like, don't get me wrong, it's kind of cool. But once again, it's like, music-wise, it's got some stuff going on, but not really a ton. It's the half-assed LA. It's like at the end of the day, I've learned that lots of other cities, not to put them down, but they end up being the half-assed LA. Now, I think one of the few cities that won't have that problem is like New York. Because New York, I think, has got just as much shit going on as LA.
Well, New York's busy as fuck.
And maybe a little bit different stuff, you know what I mean? Like there might be a little bit more geared towards this direction in New York than per se LA. But yeah, at the end of the day, I've come to the conclusion that, pretty darn soon, I think that's the thing. It's like all the jobs just seem to be right there, whether they be in Hollywood or Burbank or Culver City or something around Los Angeles. It's like, I think that is the key thing to be at.
See, that's the only thing that like I mentioned to my grandfather. I was like, I would like to go to Los Angeles. I really would. But like, I've met people that have gone over to Los Angeles. They kind of made it. They made some money over there. And then they come back to Miami to show off the money. And I'm like, oh, how'd you go over there? And he's like, I just took one of my paychecks and I just went. And I was like, I like security wherever I go. Like, as I said, I work for Starbucks. So it's kind of nice that I can go anywhere I want and I have a job. So at least I'm not turning my entire life away now. But the only fact of the matter is that one of my general managers, they mentioned to me that she was like, you know what you should do? You should go up to Disney World in Orlando. And I was like, I could do that. And she's like, we have a store inside of Disney World. And I'm like, that sounds awesome, but where's the money? You want to pay for my first, last, and security? Because in Orlando, it's actually cheaper than it is here in Miami, but still a considerable amount.
Yeah, no, I've looked at Orlando before too, and just certain things, because they got kind of an interesting visual arts school there.
Well, yeah, they have the
Dave
Full
School.
Sail University.
They got Full Sail, but I've kind of like in some of the little research I did, it seemed like the Dave School was kind of like the little bit more superior one to it. It seemed like more people had like a higher chance of getting jobs right off the bat from that one.
So what would your opinion? What would your opinion be on me? Because I was considering this recently, going back to college.
Well, I'll tell you this, since you brought that up, I myself, because here's the thing, I went to college originally right out of high school. Like I was like, boom, I'll go there in San Francisco, and I went to like the Arts Academy of Art there, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll just do this. But then I was like, about after a little, like 1 year in, I'm like, you know what? Like, I got an idea. What if I just fucking work at it and instead don't do the college thing, but take all that time and money that you were going to just spend on that and instead invest it into making projects and doing freelance and all this kind of stuff like that, which, yeah, it's worked out a bit, but maybe not as much as I kind of like hoped it sort of would. And I think the downfall was I looked at all these like 90s guys like Kevin Smith and especially Robert Rodriguez, which I think was like one of those ones. I love Robert Rodriguez, one of my favorite directors. But you kind of look at his story, and even though he did a lot of this stuff all on his own, at the same time he almost has like the luckiest fuck. He's like as lucky as like a leprechaun as far as like his story goes. It's just like, oh, we have this city in Mexico to shoot in, and everybody here's our friends, and oh, look at my buddy has a camera I can borrow, and oh, look at I got a place I can edit this at. Like, there's very small. Like,
it
there's
fell
never,
together
like,
well.
Yeah, it falls together. I'm not saying there's not some kind of like stepping stones that he has to cross.
Yeah, but it was like
for the most part, though, it's like
a Tetris.
You know, and I looked at all these guys and I felt like, hey, and Tarantino and all this stuff, and I had like over 10 people that's like, okay, these 10 people never went to college and they did really well. So that was all I needed to base it off of. I wasn't basing off one or two people. I was basing off a list. But at the end of the day, this is always the downfall I've noticed when you come up to like certain jobs and things like that. And this is what I call college, because generally a lot of times you meet people that go to college and they definitely do not know nearly as much about filmmaking as people that are self-educated.
Yeah, because they go through a school that gives you a degree at the end of it. They say you are now 100% certified, even though they might not be. You're getting official statements from official people that are saying you are now qualified to do this in a professional environment. But when you look at someone like I've been only doing this voice acting stuff for almost about a year now. And like, dude, I've learned so much. I've learned so much about audio. I've learned so much about the industry. And like, I know people that are just getting into it now that want to do like audio engineering and stuff like that. And they don't know a fucking lick of it. And they've been in it longer than I have. And they still don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, exactly. Because the thing is a lot of those people that go into like the college thing, the thing is what they're missing the self-educated drive. And, you know, I know of a lot of people, they don't have that. That's a lot of times why people go to college, because they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I mean, I kind of like movies, so I guess maybe I'll try this out. Like, my parents are going to pay for it all.
Yeah, my fucking family.
So whatever. So, you know, like, they get to that point where they're like, oh, okay, they're just here because it's something to do, but they don't have that drive like myself. Like, because that was me. I was like, well, fuck it. Because I looked at school, I'm like, all they're doing is pretty much telling you to read fucking books that are overpriced.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, I could go on Amazon and buy a ton of books used, learn a copious amount of stuff, practice my material, do freelance jobs, do it all like this. And, you know, I'll be, in a sense, superior as far as like an education goes like this. But when it boils down to later on, this is the only nice thing about having that college thing is this is what I call a degree. It's just a key card to get you into a door. That's all it is.
Yes.
It's $100,000 card that you almost kind of need half the time, because a lot of people, you know, certain people don't give a fuck. They'll be like, oh, dude, let me see what you got. Oh, you did this fucking animation. Oh, fucking awesome. Well, come on by, do this job. But a lot of people, it's almost like they don't care. It's like, oh, you don't have that magical key card that costs $120,000. Well, we don't really care what you got then. So just scurry on.
Well, yeah, there's this music studio. There's this music studio down here in Miami. I think it's called Criterion. And they're a recording studio. They have a lot of very famous people coming down there. I contacted the head of that area, and I asked them, like, is there any chance that I would be able to get like an internship? I don't need to get paid or anything like that. I just want to get some type of experience. And the first thing he said to me was, well, we only do that for college students. We only do internships for college students. People that are...
And that's what I hate, too. That comes back around to that equality thing.
Exactly.
That is not equal. That is literally just being racist again. But, like...
Well, like, the only thing is, I didn't pursue it anymore. I told him, like, you know, I'll consider sending you over, like, my resume and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, listen, if you really think you're qualified to be able to come over here and do it, send me your information and we'll see what we can do from there. And I'm like, perfect, awesome. So as the more people I meet, I realize that my social skills, the way I talk to people, the way I meet people, that is one of the most important things that comes along with. I kind of have to build my own key card. From the way you're giving it, like
as I said, it's the key card. At the end of the day, that's all a degree gets you. It doesn't get you anything else more than
it's a way in.
That you can literally walk up to a door now, slide your degree through, and walk on in.
Exactly. And you know what? I feel like, you know, in the back of my head, it's kind of like a fight. I feel like you have to grind. You have to sit there, and you really have to go through the nitty gritty. And as much as it sucks, like, the only way you're going to make some type of money or you're ever going to get your face out there is by going and really putting your all into it. Dude, believe me, I'm considering, I'm considering going to college strictly because I want to do audio engineering and I want to do animation and I want to, you know, really get good at it. But I'm realizing the stuff that I'm learning currently, I'm learning faster than college students are learning. My friend who's studying animation over in Orlando, it's not at Full Sail, but he's at another college, and he sent me an email. He's like, "Hey, look what we're doing," and I'm like, "Hey, I have that book." It was the artist, the animator survival guide, and
I got that book.
yeah,
too.
and like I've been reading through it.
What's his name? Richard. I can't. Williams, I think maybe. I don't know. I think that's
It's
what his name
Richard
is.
Williams, and I, dude, I'm going through the book so fast, but I'm indulging in each page, and I'm trying to really get the feeling of, because I've never done animation before, so this is fun. I was able to get this old version of this 2007 version of Flash, and it's working just the same as a regular version of Flash, just a little bit older.
Yeah, it's mostly just a couple things will be off, but that's about it.
Yeah, but it still has the onion skin tool. It's allowing me to tween properly. It has a crashing issue, but I believe that's something more about my computer than anything. I'm currently getting it fixed. But, falling back to what we were recently talking about, the idea of a degree has been like fascinating me because I feel like if I go, it's going to be a networking opportunity for me. I don't just see it as an opportunity to learn something. I feel like I'm not going to learn as much. I actually feel like it might deter me a little bit in terms of time. But, in the sense of a networking opportunity, when I was in high school, my yo-yo career was much more prominent because people were videotaping me and people were looking at me on a regular basis.
Because you had this social endeavor that now is missing.
Exactly. You were always around people. Over here, like within the Newgrounds community, love you guys. I would end up like posting something there, and like within a day, I'd see like 200 views, and I'm like, 200 people decided to click on this and view it. Now, if I could do that and get like thousands and thousands of views, and people keep watching it for some form of entertainment value, that would be something I feel somewhat as a blessing. Which is why I think what I want to do is I just want to go to a more high population area, such as California or New York, specifically because of the fact that I feel like it would be a better networking opportunity for me.
Well, at the end of the day, you want to be surrounded by people that have similar interests. This is what kind of screws me over.
Exactly.
Is where I'm at because I'm just out in the fucking middle of like the woods and I work offline and everything like that.
Yeah.
I am not circled by anybody. Oh, here comes Ryan again. I mean, I literally don't have anybody to technically talk to about filmmaking and so on. Okay. Yo, Ryan.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my fucking internet. I can't get my... It's like Skype in my fucking internet is like Voltron into this ultra omega shitty cunt that doesn't fucking work.
Huh, and you tried restarting it.
I restarted like 3 times. My internet, my fucking computer. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm about ready to punch something.
Oh my gosh. Well,
have you guys been going on the whole time without me?
Yeah, we're just kind of carrying on. We just assumed it's that kind of thing. We're like, oh, he'll be on in 5 minutes, and then a half an hour later, you're like, oh, I guess.
Has it really been a half an hour?
I don't know, maybe 25 minutes or so. I'm not too sure. I want to say you went out at like 44 or something.
I'm just ready to break this motherfucking piece of shit. I can go as far as to like download the Skype app for my phone so I can jump back in. But then it's like Skype app is different from like the actual fucking Skype. It's not the same thing. It's like, oh, now it's just like it's a thing for other people to have the app on their fucking phone, not Skype itself.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
So I'm just like, okay, so it's basically like already kind of like what's already in my fucking phone. That's what it is. It's the same thing that I already have my fucking phone, only has the Skype logo. Oh,
yeah,
God, I'm just ready to fucking break something.
Well, all I could say is that it's either that or AT&T's working on it right now or something like that.
Fuck AT&T. I have no problem saying this right now. I hope everybody at that company loses their jobs and they all up in the street sucking dick.
Well, they will be at 2020. They're going to close all the AT&T shops, so, I guess you'll get...
I know I'm being very pity and shitty. That's very, like, of the moment and very petty. But when you get... when this is going on, you just immediately... I kind of get where that thing immediate, like, fuck this company, fuck everybody it works for it. I try not to do that, but in these moments, I get where it comes from for a second.
Uh-huh.
I'm just trying to hopefully this kind of gets on. It's not working. Whatever I do,
I think you needed the
online.
vent.
They'll say it's online, but then I'll click on something. I can't get on the internet.
Yeah, and nothing's working. Not your phone, not your PlayStation. Nothing else is want to connect either.
I can try my PlayStation, but I don't know what the fuck it is. We're going to switch now. AT&T's literally going out of business.
They're not going out of business. They're just going to close all their stores because they're going to do everything pretty much online.
Yeah, everything's going to be online now.
So you won't be able to go into the store and get a phone from them or be able to answer any questions or anything like that by about 2020.
That's flat out fucking evil.
Well, it makes sense though. I mean, that's old school.
I don't know. That's a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
I'm turning on my PlayStation now, seeing if I can get online. Because everything it says, I replugged it several times, and it looks like it's loading on my computer. I don't know. I'll find out in a minute. It's loading on my PlayStation. Skype's not uploading at all. I don't know what the fuck it is. No what do I do on Skype? And this fucking thing is just...
Well, the only thing, it looks like it's at that point now where it's either going to work or it's not going to work. I don't think there's going to be a way of fixing it, so I don't know if it's...
I really wanted to do this fucking podcast, and I just... this is all I want.
God damn it.
Fucking... God fucking damn it.
This is, everybody, this is the real life issues of a man losing his mind.
Wait a minute, they're going to let it boot up and connect, and nothing's popping up on my fucking PlayStation. I have no idea. It's it's the middle of the day on a weekday. Why the fuck is it so busy?
The only thing I can assume is they might be working on it outside. I know that sounds like totally like a fucking answer. The reason why your internet's not working is because they're working outside, but that's not uncommon whatsoever.
Yeah, I've seen guys outside of my house and they fuck up my...
I'm so fucking furious right now. Let me try it one more time. And I got all this HD wireless. I've never seen this before. Where the fuck is this shit coming from?
Well, give it about 5 minutes and then see if you can come back on. And fuck, if not,
I guess you just have no choice but to let you guys continue the show without me, even though I got clear. I'm not mad at you guys. It's clear my whole fucking day for this. So it's what's the fucking point of anything now?
I had it till 5. I had it till 5.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, you're recording this for the show, are you?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, motherfucker. So I still found a way on the show after all.
Yeah,
so yeah,
he's on the show.
Right now. You're like Larry King calling in.
I feel like...
Caller, you're on the air.
I feel like this is...
I've been there the whole time just listening to me fucking hate rant. Hi, Austin.
Hello.
At least you're not like, fuck the internet, fuck Austin, fuck America, fuck all this shit!
Yeah, Mr. Fucking here fucking think we have a conversation in privacy so I can just pour out my soul and all my hatred. And then just get me just complaining about fucking AT&T for a total of 5 minutes of fucking shitty static. Yeah, it's loading, so yeah. Skype's still being a fucking cunt, and my internet's still not fucking working, so... Alright, I guess I'm just off the show for the day. So.
Okay, well, we'll finish it up, because I know Austin's got to get out of here pretty darn soon anyway, so...
Alright, well, I know I can't hear you, but you take care, Austin.
See you later!
So.
You said see you later.
See ya, bye.
Bye, guys. Okay, Ryan, I'll talk to you a bit.
Alright. Fuck Skype, and fuck AT&T, bye.
Bye.
Oh, poor Ryan.
Well, those things happen now.
All right, well, that was fun. Well, everybody, I believe that is, I believe this was a very productive podcast. We lost Ryan for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it seems like Ryan's not coming back on, but that's okay. We had nice discussions of hey, which we never really finished up. Okay, so coming back to this whole magic key card, freelancing, doing it yourself. I think really in all the in the 14 years I've put into this, I would say go do the college thing. Just because that gives you kind of, now some people wouldn't say a guarantee, but it gives you
almost a key card.
It gives you a much higher guarantee because you get that magic key card. And then if you combined it with a self-education, because the thing is too, is when you go to college, this is the one thing I always notice. You'll see stuff in there that when you're self-educated, you're like, they fucking prove this much better, this way and that, because I also got a personal training certificate. And I literally just got that just to have it because I was doing personal training for a while anyways. But I was like, you know what? You don't need it in California, but might as well have it just to have it. So I got one. And you would read stuff in there and you go, dude, this isn't the right way to do it, but well, whatever. Okay, I see how it is.
You know,
you just
it is what it
kind of
is.
answer what they want, and that's all it is. You know,
Exactly.
But I would say, because myself, I keep going like, you know what? Maybe I will just kind of go back and get that magic key card. You know what I mean? Because going in, I feel like going in there with all my self-education knowledge, I'll already be like super ahead of the curve anyways. I mean, don't want to toot my own horn here, but
kind of like you farmed a bunch before going into a dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like I fucking went out through the fields, trained in Final Fantasy style, and now I'm ready to fight the boss. It shouldn't be that hard, right? So I feel that. And then two, that is definitely true. The social connections is almost the most important thing. Because the one time I was in college in San Francisco, like I met fucking all kinds of people from all over the world. Then
exactly.
The second that you're not there, you're like, oh, I don't meet fucking anybody anymore. I meet like a couple people
exactly.
at the gym, and that's about it.
Well, that's one of the things that you're kind of grateful for once you leave like high school. You're just like, all these fucking assholes, I don't have to deal with them anymore. But I never had that thought. I'm like, I'm not going to be around a lot of people. Like, what friends did I make? And like, I didn't meet anybody because nobody, a big portion of the people that were at my school weren't very interested in the voice acting world or the animation world. And I was like, you know what? I don't really have to deal with these people. And the people that were artists or anything like that, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have them like somewhere in my contact list. But for the most part, I think I'm still going to sit on it for a little bit. I'm still going to consider going to college because in all reality, all this sociability that I'm bringing to this game, I want to focus on it. I really want to just put all of my work into this. Because, like, obviously you guys are already on level 300 of the Old Man Orange podcast, almost. And, like...
in there. This is 290, I think.
Yeah, well, happy 290. Shit. But it's like, it's something I'm going to work on and I'm going to get very, very good at. So...
And this is, if I was you, this is almost how I'd look at it. You know, go a little bit longer, keep working at it, doing it like yourself. Because that's the thing, though. It's, yeah, fucking, like, read as much books as possible, get as many, like, little mini jobs as you can, and get that experience in. And if you can skip the college thing, dude, you're fucking, way higher. But it's sometimes at the end of the day, there is something nice about having that key card. And then also, too, even if you did it where, like, hey, I'm doing voice acting, but I'm going to go to college and learn animation because it's technically in the same ballpark anyways. That's not a bad way either because you'll start meeting people that they're making animations, but they can't fucking voice act. So then
they need a guy that's going to go like, and that's just going to walk up and be like, hey, you guys, I'm going to be the voice actor for this one. And like,
so that like, that's the cool part there is you'll meet those kind of people and get that kind of stuff. And it's really at the end of the day, it's those connections. And it's like, you literally are throwing down whether or not you borrow it from, you'll have to take those fucking bank loans. But at the end of the day, it's like, you got to think of it. It's like a sacrifice you're making to get more in the long run.
It's an investment.
And once again, it's that key card that sometimes, you can skip the key card, but also I think the key card does make it a little bit easier. Because as I said, like I've done it for like 14 years and freelancing's not bad, but it's almost like sometimes
you don't get that credit.
Sometimes at the end of the day, it's like, you kind of like, God, it would be nice just to have like, where are you going to work today? I'm going to go work on the new Batman movie. And I gotta work on it till fucking the end of time because there'll always be another Batman movie. And I'm kind of set to go. It's like, sometimes there would be kind of that nice thing. Then they'd be like, okay, I'm making this documentary for a guy. Now that's done. Well, let's go find another job. Okay, we need to do this project here, and so on. You keep jumping back and forth trying to find new stuff. So the key card would be nice, and then you'd get all the contacts. You'd start building that fucking list, which is really important. And then I think, if you did go to something like animation, because it's almost like you kind of want to learn something a little bit different that you don't totally know everything about. Like, that's where I thought with the Dave School in Orlando, because it was 3D animation. I'm like, well, that's the one thing I really don't know is 3D animation. I've learned 2D. I've learned music, I've learned voice acting, I've learned video production, I've learned, comic books and so on, but, I've dicked around with 3D a little bit, but not really at all. So that would at least I'd be kind of like, hey, it'd be a little bit more fresh for me, but I'd have all my other backgrounds that stack on top because at the end of the day, you realize that storytelling across the board is pretty much the same thing. Doesn't matter what medium you're in. That's what it is at the end of the day, but yeah, that's what I'm kind of at too. It's like, dude, do you pick a place to go, or even just once again, sometimes just going to like LA. Like the upside there is there's just so many jobs that are just so, and if as long as you're in the area, you can easily just show up to all of them.
Yeah.
And you got jobs left and right. And that's almost cool in itself because, yeah, there's always the ones you're going to find on the internet, but sometimes there's the ones that are kind of like in person that are almost like the ones that top them all.
And that's
and
important
you don't get
because
those.
Going in and meeting people is one of the things that's going to get you well, I hate to say this, but noticed. You'll meet people.
They don't know who the fuck you are on the internet. You could be just some douchebag for all they know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be Austin J. Cook online, but God forbid I meet someone at like a con or something. Well, that's another thing. I'm going to a lot more conventions as well. Another good way to network yourself. Go and meet people and go to the panels and have fun, but network. Meet people who are artists. Meet people who you believe would be interested in the work that you do. Because at the end of the day, holy shit, there's a lot of people at conventions. You make a few friends, they'll introduce you to so many more people.
And the thing, too, is you can be kind of like the guy that walks around with a t-shirt on, just says, like, hey, anybody need a voice actor? Just fucking walking around, hey, I'm here, fucking hand out some business cards, whatever.
Yeah, just whore myself out a little bit, be like, you guys need a voice actor? I got you guys.
You know, and it's just one of those ones you kind of have to, it's that advertising thing you kind of have to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm getting to that point where it's like, okay, pretty darn soon, I think Los Angeles, it's like, don't cheapen out and go to any other city that's not going to give you those.
No. I think,
once again, New York, I think would be just as good, but I wouldn't even take Austin. I wouldn't even take Vancouver or any of those other places unless there was like one of those ones like they already had a job. Like if they had something, they're like, hey, you want to come fucking work on Arrow or The Flash? I'd be like, fucking hey, I'll show up at Vancouver or wherever the fuck they film that at.
Yeah, but most part, like
if you didn't get a job, don't fucking even go out your way to those places.
Yeah, exactly. Like aim for the higher areas. Like for me, if I'm moving anywhere next that's not Miami, I want to aim for Los Angeles, or I want to aim for New York, or I want to aim for a high population area where I can possibly, hopefully, find a place where I can live comfortably. If I have to live with other people, I'll be fine with that. But I do need to get better at my craft. That's for sure.
Well, here's a good motivational story, and it actually was kind of a neat one. If you have a chance, listen to it it's actually on Chris Jericho's podcast. But you know the band Black Veil Brides?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, the main guy, like, which I didn't realize, that band's pretty much just one guy.
Yeah,
and everybody else is just hired hands.
Ronnie Biersack?
Yeah, like that guy's fucking story. Like when he was on there telling it, it's like, you know, he came from like fucking, I don't know, Georgia, somewhere back east. Yeah. And he was all like, yeah, I just decided right after high school, you know, I had this one little music video I made, which was the Needles and Pens one, which he's like, yeah, I just literally hired 2 people to play in that. It's like, I wrote the song, but I just had those guys come in. I'm like, oh, those guys aren't part of the band. Like I used to think the whole time, like, oh, those must be the drummer and the original guitar player. It's like, nope, just hired hands. And he's like, I literally had that. That was the only thing I had. I fucking drove to Los Angeles in my car, and I didn't have a place to stay or anything. So he's like, what I did is I parked outside like a rehearsal gig area, because the whole thing is people are coming in and out day in, day out. So it doesn't look like you're just like living there or anything like that. Nobody really knows. And he's like, and when I was there, I fucking met Chris Holmes, which is the guitar player for Wasp. And he's like, yeah, fucking started making friends with him and everything like that. And then he just kind of goes on. He's like, by being like, in a sense, hoboing it and just being in the area. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I met this girl and we started dating, and she was going to be in the next Rob Zombie flick, which was Halloween 2. So he's like, well, I flew out there, and next thing you know, I'm just the guy kind of hanging out as she's doing her acting thing. I'm just there in the background, and I talked to like the assistant director or editor or something like that. I'm like, hey, you know, I made this music video, and he starts going on. It's just like, that's a perfect example of just like literally just fucking hobo it and but be in the area. Just literally.
He just networked himself in the thing.
He literally networked. And like, he didn't have to get the fucking key card to cheat his way in. He just literally fucking came by, and I mean, in a sense, I guess you could say that's how a lot of, you know, that's no different than I guess Axl Rose's story, because Axl Rose never.
Andy Biersack.
Yeah, that's his name.
Andy Biersack.
But it's like Axl Rose, you know, in a sense, he too, like, he never really worked a real job. He just fucking showed up in LA, slept on people's couches, talked.
Yeah,
well, you know what I mean?
One of his songs is literally all about that.
So, you know, sometimes there's something to be said there. I mean, the nice thing is if you know at least just 1 or 2 people like in the area, whether they be relatives or something like that, that can give you a helping hand. But clearly these guys didn't have anybody. So, you know, I think that is just it. It's just, hey, fucking show up, you know. Well, hopefully a bear won't rape you and you'll be good to go.
I guess that's a good little lesson for today, kids. If you don't want to go to college, just hobo it out until you find something.
Hobo it.
Don't end up homeless, but just, you know, go and network with people, make a lot of friends, and eat your peas and don't do drugs, and as long as you don't do drugs and become an addict, you'll be
that's the key
fine.
thing. Stay away from that stuff. But
Yeah.
this is kind of fun. This is the other way to say it. This is a more like less hobo way. Is you call it like you're gonna go cowboy it. You know what I mean?
Go
It's like you're gonna get in your iron steed, being a fucking vehicle or a motorcycle, and you're just gonna go travel. I remember when we went to Tennessee, I asked Dunigan. I'm like, dude, Dunigan, you want to come with us, dude? It'll be like fucking Easy Rider. You ever seen that movie?
I have not seen Easy Rider.
Oh, okay, never mind. This joke's not going to be as funny to you then. But there's like, it stars Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper. I'm like, dude, I'm Dennis Hopper. My buddy here, he's pretty much Peter Fonda. I'm like, you could be Jack Nicholson. And Dunnigan just goes, dude, Jack Nicholson gets beat to death and dies in that movie. I'm like, well, it's not going to happen like that this way, but still, you'll be the third wheel. Come on, dude, it'll be awesome.
You can be the Jack Nicholson, but Jack Nicholson dies at the end of the movie. Well, you don't gotta die, but you gotta be Jack
It's
Nicholson.
halfway into it.
That's ironic.
That's the thing. Sometimes that is the thing. Just kind of cowboy it. Like I kid you not, when I went to Nashville, the first 3 days we were there, we were literally just kind of like slightly hoboing. I guess you could say like hoboing it when you kind of have a little bit of money in your pocket. But in those 3 days, I felt like we got so much fucking shit done.
Really?
It was like almost like the worst thing we did was get an apartment. Because the
my
second you
God.
got an apartment, you got comfortable.
Oh,
And it was
no.
like when you didn't have an apartment, fuck, you woke up at 6 a.m. and you did stuff till like 8 p.m. and then we'd just go find some kind of like poor, because like in Nashville, you could go get a hotel for like $60 and it's not like a bad
That's
hotel.
nice.
You know what I mean? It's like it would be like in a California, that'd be like $130 hotel.
Wow.
So when you split that between two people, it wasn't so bad. Now you can't do that every single day, but boy, I mean, I kid you not, we saw so much in Nashville in those 3 days. We did all kinds of things. We met all kinds of people. And then the second we finally got this like apartment, it was like everything just kind of went and slowed down. And there's almost something that
it's like your exciting life just came to a grind.
well, this is what I kind of say. It's like, this sounds weird to some people when I tell them this, but I'm like, dude, if you get an apartment, you should make that apartment technically not comfortable whatsoever. And the only reason I say that is you want to be, if you're in like, LA or San Francisco or any fucking city, you almost want to give yourself a reason to be out. Like you almost want to have like a Japanese style.
Yeah, you want to give yourself a reason to go out and
You know what I mean?
talk
You
to
want like
people.
one of those like Japanese apartments that like literally is like a capsule that you get in and it's got like a little teeny bathroom, a little teeny kitchen. It's got like the TV above the bed. It looks like you're sleeping in like a camper, but it's like in an apartment building. Like that would be the most ideal thing to have because that's the kind of place you're not going to be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking kick it at home all day long. You're like, no, you're going to get out and you're going to do shit and all kinds of stuff. Now, I guess
you need to go out and socialize with people.
Or there was this place in San Francisco. It was called the International House. And literally what it was just an apartment building for all kinds of like foreign kids. And, foreign kids being age 17 to 30 something. But the way that they had like the most weirdest structured rooms, like it was like something like, I just never saw this in America before.
Oh.
But they had like two people were in one room and it was just like the square room and they had like a bunk bed and underneath the bunk bed was like their desk. So it's like,
no, I didn't see that.
For like
but
I did sleep.
I did stay in a room where like I stayed at a hostel and that was one of the things that I did when I got there was it pushes you to go out and see the city, go talk to people, socialize.
The key thing is socialize.
One of the key things is know how to work with people and know how to show your craft.
Yeah.
Know how to do those two things, and I feel like it takes time. You have to understand how to take no for an answer, and you have to understand, how to really get the shit kicked to the fan. But at the end of the day, you need to be ready. You need to be ready to meet people. You need to be ready to give. When they ask, like, what do you do? Don't say, I don't really know. I know every single time I say it, I'm like, well, I'm a voice actor. I'm a professional yo-yoer. I can play a few different instruments almost well. And I also have been on a few different podcasts with people, and I've also talked to many people, and I've done a lot of stuff. And when you get that list, I'm obviously mine isn't built right now, but there's a long list of stuff that you can do, and if you've done it, you can tell people that you've done it, give them your proof in the means of a business card, and when they look at you, wait about a week. But watch what happens after that week. That person will call you, they'll question things, and like you will have showed them that you do work. But if I could give a lesson for anybody here today, oh, excuse me. I'm new to the all this, so I'm about as in the dark as anybody else. But if I've learned anything from the yo-yo community at all, um, meet a lot of people, make a lot of friends, and don't think about the money.
Yeah, well, and continuously work.
Yeah,
and
don't ever give up.
Like the one thing I'll say is you don't want to be that art. Like it's one of those ones because you meet those kind of artists who are like, yeah, I'm not in it for the money. I feel like bull fucking shit. If you're not in it for the money, then what? You know what I mean? Like then you go get a regular fucking job because clearly this
obviously
is not for you.
Aim to make to make some type of money, but enjoy yourself. Have it be the first things first is have fun. You want to do something you love and make money doing it. That statement that
exactly.
You don't want to you don't want to make money doing something you love. You want to do something you love and make some money.
Exactly. You want it to take care of you. It's kind of like whenever people tell me they're in band, mostly it happens with bands more than anything else. They're like, yeah, we're just kind of play for the fun of it. I'm like, why the fuck would you put all that work and effort into it if it wasn't going to like provide for you? Because to me, I'm one of those kind of people, like, if it's not going somewhere, I feel like it's kind of a waste of time. And I know that not everybody has those kind of mindsets, but to me, it's like one of those ones, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go 100%. I don't want to half-ass
You can't just ride the train and go to nowhere. People will say, like, it's about the journey, not the destination. I'm like, the destination is a whole new journey in itself. But if you don't know where you're going and you don't know how to get there and you don't have any drive to get there, you're just sitting at the bus stop. You're not waiting for a bus. You're just sitting there saying a bus will come. Every time a bus passes you, you're like, well, that wasn't my bus. Fuck it.
And if you're not making a couple bucks along the way, it's like you're literally just shoveling money into a fire. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that like in a bad way, but it's like the reason you play in a band is because this is what you want to do literally as your career. The reason you do voice acting is you want to make money doing it. It's one of those ones, I mean, I kind of use this thing too. Sometimes I'll ask people like, okay, would you rather work a job that you fucking love? It is the most funnest job ever. Maybe it's, and it's not like, I'm not gonna say it's like the most amazing job, but it's something cool. Like, hey, you fucking work at a comic book store that you really dig. You work at a fucking mom and pop video game store, something like that, but you only get paid minimum wage. You only get paid like $8 or $10 an hour.
Currently what I'm at. I'm working at Starbucks, but I'm meeting so many fucking people.
Okay, and then I ask the people, I go, or you got to work a job that you fucking hate. It's hard labor, it's dangerous, it's funky, everything like that, but you get paid like $16 an hour. It's amazing how many people will tell me like, no, I'll take the $16 an hour job. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You got the job where it's like, you're going to have the best days of your life, even if it is, you know what I mean? But I mean, it's something you're 100% into compared to something you fucking hate, but you get paid twice as much because you hate it. Like, that's not worth it at all.
You say that
like, what
first,
the fuck?
and then you get into it, and you realize how much your time is really worth. Because you're doing something you fucking despise.
Yeah.
Like, let's take, for example, you're working in a soup kitchen and you make like, you're making like $20 an hour. But sometimes those crackheads end up throwing some needles at you, or some people end up pulling you off to the side. Yeah, the danger of it is real.
Yeah, there's a danger.
But yet some other people end up falling into areas where they're comfortable and they make not a lot of money, but they make enough money to get by. But they're doing something they love. They're doing something they enjoy. Like, obviously Starbucks isn't my career, but it's definitely better than, sitting inside of a smoke shop.
But you don't go inside there every day and have the notion of like, either one of these days I'm going to shoot myself or I'm going to shoot everybody else here.
No,
and
I've
that's
never,
the thing is
I've never.
You don't want to be in that job where it gives you those. Even if they just come in once in a while, if you start to get those in your head where that's what you're thinking, and it's like, that's not thinking like some kind of sociopath.
Back away immediately.
That's just literally getting to the point where like, you just fucking hate it.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you got to get out of there. It's like, you know what I mean? And that's the thing though. It's like,
well, like I was working at Outback Steakhouse and I loved everybody there. I really did. All my coworkers, all of my managers, they were all so cool to me. But there was this vibe there that I just wasn't feeling. Like, the amount of work that I was doing and the money I was making was about on par with what I wanted. But I was like, I feel like I'm stuck in a box. I was in the to-go area. I was like, I'm in a box. I need to start doing my own thing. I stopped working. I started doing voice acting and I worked at a smoke shop. And then I was like, okay, I need a little bit more work. Then I went to Starbucks and now they're working me twice as much for not enough money. But now I'm meeting more people and I'm socializing with people on a regular basis.
See, that's cool in itself.
And also they give me coffee. Speaking of coffee, I have to start heading off to work because
I was thinking that. I was looking at the time, like, well, you gotta get out of here pretty darn soon.
Yeah, it's like 5. It's 5:05. All right, everybody. So
yeah, I'm gonna really quickly. This is apparently what happened to Dunigan's internet. I got the answer.
Oh,
it says his roommate changed the internet service before telling, and it ended up canceling. So, go figure. That's bound to happen. But yeah, if anything, any take-home message from this, including the internet issues, is that hey, learn as much as you fucking can, do as much work as you possibly can, and meet as many people as you can. But sometimes at the end of the day, you gotta fucking bite the big dick and take that $100,000 key card, whether you have to, ask the president for some cash and go out there and do it yourself, or, have a bank, putting some ball and chain on you. But other than that, though, somehow, some way, whatever you have to do, fucking do it.
Exactly. And love what you do, everybody.
Yeah, fucking America. God damn it.
Alrighty.
Till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I am Austin Cook. And that was Ryan Dunigan.
And poor Ryan got booted off because of the internet, but, So yeah, check out oldmanorange.com, and we'll see you some other time.
See you guys later. And I will see you later, good sir.
Okay, Austin, I will talk to you in a bit.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to Old Man Orange.